Ray Reyes, and I'm going to talk a minute here about fundamentals. One day I was out working out in the off season with a good friend of mine who played in the NFL, and I wanted to pick his brain. He was a defensive back, and he made me feel very stupid because I said, tell me one thing that I could teach my defensive back to really make a difference in high school football. And he looked at me and said, be in a good stance. I said, oh yeah. So all sports, I don't care what sport it is, starts with good fundamentals, and they always start at stance. That's the only one I give it to you. If your kids aren't in a good stance, then you're going to have problems. From there, you should build their footwork from the stance into all the motions they're going to need, no matter what sport you have them in there. And it's repetition. It's repetition, it's slow to fast, it's verbalizations. I've worked with some coaches that are excellent, particularly basketball coaches, the ones I've worked with, that taught kids the skill, broke it down by stance, step by step, slow to fast, and then verbalize, close out when they're coming out on a shooter. Keep it to remind them not to jump to try to block a shot and get out of defensive position. And so I think verbalization is a real important part of it. And lastly, you need to remember the 4 stages of learning, okay? The 4 stages of learning are what? They don't know what they don't know. Before you sit a kid down and show him the very first thing you want to teach him, he probably didn't know what the stance looked like. Then the second stage of learning is they know what they don't know. So they realize, hey, this is how I have to get in my stance, okay? They have to think about it, and they start to get in their stance as the learning grows. The next step is they know what they know. All right? So that third phase of learning is they get in their stance, they go through whatever it is, whatever drill it is in whatever sport, and then the final stage of learning, they don't know what they know. So everything is second nature to them. They go out there, they get in their stance, they execute their fundamentals. And I think if you remember those 4 stages of learning, you'll realize that this is sometimes a tedious process. It has to be slow, build up speed, use verbalization, and get them to that unconscious competence that they need to excel in their sport.